everybody was happening. Hope everybody doing good. All is well. Oh man, another day, and it's looking beautiful as always. It's going according to his plan, and I'm liking every minute of it because I know his will gonna be done. And I pray that everything's going according to your plans. And if it ain't, you better get your plan to sync with his plan. So right here in this video, that's two flares that you're looking at. They seem close, and they're really not. They're like very far apart. I mean, very far apart. I bet they over a quarter of a mile apart. It's just the angle that you looked at they set up on. They seem like they close like that. So that's a flare at a refinery. Could be, say, close to the incinerator. If anybody could go back far enough and know what incinerators used to look like. But over here at this plant, that's how they burn off certain chemicals. I haul LP from time to time, and once you finish loading, what's left in the line from their pump to the valve on your trailer is what they flare off. So that way, when you take the liner loose, it won't be so much pressure stuck in the line. So they'll open the flare up, and all that product will go back in their direction. Goes up to the flare, burn off, get all the pressure off, because I ain't even got to tell you what's going to happen if you knock that liner loose with all the pressure on it. But anyway, I wanted to take a video of this. It kind of reminds me of a funny story that somebody was telling me about a year or so ago. And it was funny when they said it. But I know I'm not going to be able to make it as funny. But anyway, I'm going to try to put you there. So, I don't know, back in September, October, something like that, I was in Tulsa, Oklahoma. And, you know, just trying to give my account is, this was the first time I ever seen something like this in person. And I want you to like picture one of them apocalyptic movies, apocalyptic television shows where you see all the people walking around looking like zombies, and in one block, just in a 1 block radius, you might see 50 or 60 people. Okay, so this is me the earlier part of that day in Tulsa. So I stopped at a truck stop to get some directions, trying to find this refinery, because I looked it up on the GPS, and GPS looked like it was sending me down through a neighborhood, and that's the last thing I wanted to do. I didn't had a couple of bad situations with them neighborhoods, so I don't do them, especially with these placarded loads and all that. So I'm talking about, it's like 40, 50 people in a 1 block radius. Everybody walking in different directions. One person might be 3 feet behind the other person, walking in the same direction, and they're not together. It kind of messed me up. Like, man, look at all these folks. So anyway, you know, I'm checking out the scene, and I could see what's going on. A lot of these people like really not in their right mind. You could tell it's something else in play with what's going on. But anyway, it's none of my business. I'm here trying to take care of my business, get in and get out. So I get directions, and the people told me how to get there, and you kind of sort of had to ride through a neighborhood to get there. So I'm riding down the neighborhood, down through the neighborhood. There's people sleeping all on the sidewalk, and you hear that a lot, and you kind of see that a lot. But when I say on the sidewalk, I mean they like sleeping in the middle of the sidewalk, like no tent, no nothing. And you can tell that this area is like really having a problem. You know Tulsa get real, because I like to watch the First 48, and they be on there all the time. So I get to the plant, get in the plant, and as I'm riding through the plant, and of course you can see in this video that it's a fence right there. You can see that fence, but the fence, mostly all the plants, well, actually all the plants I've been to have fences around them. And of course, that's to keep you out and keep all that dangerous stuff that's in there out of your hands. There's a lot of dangerous stuff in there. I mean, it's real. So as I'm riding around this place in Tulsa, as I'm headed to the rack, that's where you load and offload at. I kind of noticed the hole in the fence by the track, but it wasn't a big hole. I figured, I paid no attention to it. It really didn't mean anything. And at this point, it's about 9-10 o'clock at night. So I get to the rack, and of course, this is my first time there. Normally, when you load and unload at these places, like I say, you're dealing with real dangerous stuff. And you kind of, for the first time, you want to get an operator to come out there and show you how to operate everything, make sure that you can do everything safely. And a lot of times they'll get you started, and then they'll leave, and before they leave, they'll give you the process on how to stop everything. Do you know how to do this, and do you know how to do that? And 90% of the time, I don't care where you go, all of it is close to the same setup. So if you done rode one bicycle, you done rode the next. So the dude get me set up, I'm loading, and I have a chair that I normally just pull my chair out from under the bed and sit in my chair, because of course you don't want to overload this stuff, because that could be a problem too. And you don't want to underload, because 90% of the stuff I run, I get paid by the gallon. So it's all about getting every drop that I can possibly get. And so I'm chilling in the chair, looking at my trailer, and as my back is turned to the fence where I was telling you where I seen the gate broke by the track. So all of a sudden, the operator, he done pulled up, and I don't know how he done this. He pulled up on me so smooth and so quietly. I guess the Chevrolet was just smooth, because I didn't realize this dude was behind me till he got out and closed the door. If he wouldn't have closed the door, he could have came and hit me on the shoulder, and I wouldn't have knew he was back there. So the dude say, "Man, you mighty comfortable back here." So him being funny, I hit him with what you expecting less than that? I said, "Man, I'm comfortable everywhere I go." I said, "I don't have no enemies, man, so I'm good." I said, "The only people that look for me from time to time is a bill collector." So he thought that was funny. So anyway, he said, "Man, you got to be careful in here, man, because there be people walking around in here." I said, "What?" It's like, "Yeah." I said, "Man, I ain't never been in no plant where people just walking around." It's like, "Oh yeah, man." He said, "Man, we got a bad problem around here. People on open doors and oh, I know I'm probably saying it wrong, but y'all welcome to correct me. And all these other kind of drugs, like it's like Dye City around here." I said, "Yeah, I know. Y'all stay on First 48. So he said, "But often, man, we catch people in here walking around, running around. We can't catch them. We can't get them out. We just having a problem. They taking over." So I said, "Well, dang, man, y'all need to do something about that, bro." I said, "Y'all got too much stuff going on here for it to get in the hands of just anybody." And So that's when he said, man, one night I was in the control room and I seen a helicopter going around the flare. I say, what? It's like, yeah, man, I seen a helicopter keep flying in circles around the flare. So I called security and we all went out there and we seen the helicopters going around and around, and we couldn't figure out what was going on. So, man, they go out there, come to find out, somebody done robbed the Quick Trip and then laid up there and climbed up on the top of the flare. Now well, of course, you can see the one on the left. It's got a ladder that goes all the way to the top. And say it's a guy up on top of the flare, police on the bottom of the flare, and the dude don't want to come down off the flare. So this going on, he say this went on for like 7 hours. I'm like, what? He was like, yeah. I said, man, that's crazy. I say, what ended up being the problem? He said, well, for one, the dude was high. I said, yeah, he was high. He was up there pretty high. He's like, no. He like, nah, man. He was high off of some meth, and he was up there, and he wasn't coming down for nothing. And I'm like, well, if this person would have known that that's a flare, that's where they burn off chemicals, and at any given time, some fire could just come out the top of that thing and probably scare him to the point that he gonna want to jump down if anything, if it ain't too hot for him to even be up there. And I just thought that was so funny. I thought that was so funny. Like, man, it's amazing the things that drugs have you in the mind to where you don't know if you're coming or going, what zip code you even in. Because I can't talk about this person, even though I don't do drugs and never did drugs and never wanted to do drugs. But it take a person with a lot of heart to get up there on the top of that flare and don't know when the flame might come out the top of that flare. Be honest with you, if it was me, I'd rather deal with the police on the bottom than deal with the flame on the top. And I just wanted to do that video because it'd be so many crazy things going on around you that you just can't believe, and you be like, what could make a person think like that? But I hope everybody have a good day. I hope it's been a good day for you. And I pray that every minute that passes, it gets greater.